Hi there, Doug from TauStats. This week in September 2024, the Bittensor network has released a new feature called a child hotkey. And in this video, we're going to give a quick introduction to what a child hotkey is and how it's going to be used inside the Bittensor network. Let's kick it off with just a review of all keys and wallets that exist inside the network. Every Tau holder has a cold key, and this is your wallet address. And if you go to TauStats, you can see how much Tau is in your cold key. And cold keys are where you do transactions. If you're transferring Tau into your wallet or out of your wallet, you're doing it from your cold key. When you're interacting with the Bittensor chain, you're using a hotkey that is associated with a cold key. Hotkeys are used to register neurons on the different subnets. So if you're running a validator or you're running a miner, you registered a hotkey. And the Tau that's earned on those hotkeys, it stays on the hotkey, and then you can transfer it into your cold key to then distribute to other ways. You also use hotkeys when you're staking Tau to a validator. That Tau is still in your wallet in a hotkey that you control, but it's associated with the hotkey of a validator. So let's look at a validator hotkey. This is a screenshot from TauStats of the TauStats validator. TauStats, at the time of this recording, is validating across 45 different subnets. But because there is only the concept of parent hotkeys, only one hotkey is being used across all 45 subnets. It's a little bit of a security risk, right? If this hotkey were to be compromised, all of a sudden the validators on all 45 subnets are potentially compromised. So one of the ideas of the child hotkey is, right now there's 45 subnets, there's capacity for 52, and that's only going to grow, is now you can have a child hotkey on all of the different subnets. That child hotkey uses the stake from the parent hotkey. So if you're a validator and you have hundreds of thousands of Tau delegated to you, that's still delegated across all of the child hotkeys, but it reduces that exposure of your hotkey. Now, another thing that this allows is it's allowing others access to stake. So a couple ways this can happen. If you're a new validator, you can stake to one of the child hotkeys of an existing validator. Another thing that this allows is validators, as there's more and more subnets, may not be able to adequately validate across all of the subnets. So they can subcontract out the validation to a child hotkey, and somebody else can run the validator on some of the subnets. Now, anytime we add something into the Bittensor network, that's going to change the way the emission works. So let's look at the way this works today. Inside a subnet, we have validators with dividends and emissions. And from that emission, there's the hotkey take, and that's how much the validator makes. If the validator has a 9% take, 9% of the emission goes to the validator, and the remaining 91% is distributed amongst the subnets that they're validating on. It'll be really interesting to see where child hotkeys go and how they end up being used inside the Bittensor ecosystem. We're just in the beginning. The launch was less than 24 hours ago, so it'll be fun to see how this all plays out. Thanks for watching, and we will have more updates as child hotkeys evolve inside the Bittensor network.